All right. This time I think I got it. I had some technical difficulties, but so yeah. It's shitty because before I had all the technical difficulties, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. Because I was like, it was one of those situations where it's like, well, do you go live or do you actually make a video? And I was going to just go live, then I fucked up, then I forgot what I was going to talk about. But I guess that's what the weed's for, to help bring back ideas and make it a lighter. I think if you guys got time to get some weed, if you got some weed. I don't know if y'all got any weed, but if y'all got some weed, smoke it up. Let's get high. Okay, so one more thing. All right. Yep. The universe. Hey, the universe is calling me. Yep. Fuck yeah. I had shitty at work today, but I got 3 hours of sleep last night. Oh well. Okay, so y'all smoke? Let's smoke. Woo! The universe says, you still trip on Hawaiian Baby Woodrose? And the universe says, they explain everything to me. I'm glad to hear someone else that enjoys them or learns from them. Right now, I took a break from Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds due to vasoconstriction issues. Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds, one of the most profound, amazing psychedelics of my life. Like, I've tried many, but it's weird that it's one of my favorite because I learned so much from it. It's not as visual, but it's the one that will like punch you in the face and say, get your fucking life together. But yeah, it kind of explained everything to me too. Like with my life, it's so weird because things are going on in my life right now. I'm thinking back to some of my trips and it's like, oh, well, LSA tried warning me about certain things, but I just wasn't paying attention. But vasoconstriction is a serious issue when it comes to Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds when you're doing them a lot. So I had vasoconstriction in my arm, and it just really fucking hurt. And I mean, it still slightly hurts, but barely, so it's fine. It's going back to normal. So I'm going to take a break from Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds for a while. And just, so I started getting back into smoking weed. Like, I've always smoked weed this whole entire time, but I got back into, like, smoking heavily and smoking wax and shatter and all that. How many would you take normally? So my dose for Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds was anywhere from, well, my preferable dose is anywhere from 10 to 15 seeds. And what I do is I do a cold water extraction in garlic water, basically. It's just like I take garlic water, which is a cold water extraction over garlic and water, and then I take regular water, mix them 50-50, put the thing in there, and put the seeds in there, and then boom. But and I'll let it sit for like 5 hours to 3 days. But yeah, Hawaiian Baby Woodrose seeds. Excuse me if I've talked about them a lot lately. It's just that's what I've been doing lately, and but like I said, I had to take a break because it's not how many I was doing at a time that was the problem. It's how frequently I was doing it was the problem. And it ended up causing vasoconstriction in my arm. But, yeah. These things are powerful substances. I mean, cannabis, powerful substance. Anybody got any questions? Feel free to ask the question. If not, feel free to just hear me smoke and ramble. But What's going on, Onslaught? Ooh. I could taste the shatter in that hit. Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember the exact strain. It was lemon something lemon. Really, some really good weed. Because I'm still in a state where I have to go to the homie's house to get the bud. You know what I mean? I can't walk into the store yet. There is no stores around here. Only things around here, they sell CBD flower now and shit in places, but like, and there's, so for the past like 2 weeks, I've been putting weed in the bowl, then some shatter, a little more weed, then some shatter, and a little more weed to top it all off, and that's what I'm smoking on right now. Got me high as fuck. Like, yeah. Ooh. So, man, I just feel like if y'all don't ask a question, I'm about to end up rambling on some shit, because I was just sitting there and recovering from this hit. I was just sitting there thinking, like, damn, what is stopping me from being me? I don't know. I was just randomly, what the fuck stops any of us from being who we were meant to be, from doing what we love to do, from doing all this? And I was just thinking about how I have to go to work today, and how it's like I keep looking at the clock, counting down, like, oh my God, I have this much time before I have to go to work. And, you know, for me, I'm not one that really likes to work. I don't think anybody does, but I think it's a mindset thing, you know. I appreciate that, Dirty Dan, because, like, you know, I hope you understand how much I appreciate all of you, like everyone that watches my videos, not on some whatever, but genuinely, because this isn't just watching videos. This is a genuine live stream. So it's like we just basically sitting here vibing, smoking together. You know what I mean? And even if you don't smoke, we're just sitting here vibing. It's like we got the digital circle around here. And I eventually want to try something crazy, but I don't think there's any live streams hooked up like this yet. Or maybe. I was thinking about, there's this idea I had about, okay, so right now there's not that many people in here. There's only 5 people in the live stream. But imagine if we could all put on like virtual headsets, and we can all sit on a table, have the virtual reality thing on, and we can all sit in a table together in virtual reality. I think that's where this shit's going. Like, that's where live stream has the potential to go, where you can kind of like literally digitally chill with the people in the live streams, you know? But it's just a random thought. Why is it that some people can take weed but others can't? I get very depersonalized when I smoke, so I don't. Now, it could be multiple reasons. It could be a personality thing. It could be a strain thing. It could be that you need a certain strain. It could be that maybe CBD weed would work better for you. You know, because I have a friend that smokes CBD flower, and you know, he also smokes weed occasionally, but like he buys himself CBD flower. So it's like whatever works for you. I feel like it's trying different things, you know. It's hard to do that when you're in a legal state. But if you're in a legal state, you can literally go to the store and start like buy small amounts of each one. Shit, try it here and there. Or, you know, if you're someone that doesn't like the anxiety, a good bud tender will let you know, like, this does this and this does this and that and this, and but or maybe weed's not meant for you. But I believe that everyone should at least have a connection with some plants. Like, some people have a connection with the coffee plant. They just think that they drink coffee every day, but I have a connection with the weed plant and many other plants. But, like, man, I think plants coexist and co-evolved with us for a reason. I think that we are meant to progress and evolve and grow next to the plants. The plants feed us and give us the nutrients and vitamins we need, but they also contain alkaloids, what scientists would say are secondary, molecules that they really don't matter. They're more to keep animals from eating it. But I'm pretty sure the plants could have made an easier way to keep the animals from eating it, like growing extreme thorns or some shit. But, like, I definitely smoke with you about whether it's streaming or content. I've always loved smoking a nice bowl and making some kratom while I watch your videos or like I said, these streams. Right though. It's dope. So, deep sheet bots, organic portals, etc. Look at you with hate, fear. The universe. Are you talking about Are you talking about like Hawaiian Blue Woodruff seeds, or what are you talking? I'm currently smoking on a hash. Oh, fuck yeah. Ansel says, cannabis and kratom keep me going. Pharma meds have wreaked havoc. Agreed. But see, kratom helped me for a long time. I stopped using kratom 6 months ago, but I was thinking about using kratom again once I start my kratom business up again. I don't want to use kratom until I can afford to sell it. That's like I'm trying to change my mind state with things where it's like, if I didn't have a job, I'd feel like I don't deserve to smoke weed. So at this point in my life, I wouldn't smoke weed. But luckily for me, I have a job. But if I didn't or have a stream of income, because that's just one stream of income. My goal is to get to, I have another idea, another stream of income. Then I have another idea of a stream of income, which is going to take a slightly little bit longer, but it's a CBD company idea. There's something my friend wants to do, and I want to help him do it, and he wants me a part of his business. And it's like an herbal thing too, so it's like I'm thinking about doing that as well. And I was just thinking about putting my foot and try to put my foot in everything, because like right now I'm kind of just sitting here by myself, like I have my daughter, she's in the other room. But in a way, like for the next week or so, like it's kind of just going to be me going to work, coming back home, and I need to take this time alone. We all do, because it's right now I'm only alone because I'm going through something that is making me be alone at the moment in time. But we're all going alone technically with this quarantine. There's so many people that don't live a life like me. I don't know where I seen this at. Oh yeah, my friend Samina was telling me that basically the quarantine, this is kind of her level. Like what I mean is like, this is her element, as she was saying, because this is like what we already do in a way. Like I'm already a secluded person, a kind of person that sits in the house a little bit. I learn, I get woke, I get educated, I research, I spend time with my family, I do this, like normal things too. Like I go to work, I come home, I whatever, but I'm trying to write a book, I'm trying to do this, and I feel like this is a perfect time to get in shape. This is a perfect time to do so many things because you're at home alone. And now people that don't understand, but they know something they don't. Right though. I cannot take weed. Do you think I can take DMT? I really want to take DMT, but I'm afraid and I hate it. You're supposed to be afraid of DMT, Pink Fanta. You're supposed to. If DMT is the most terrifying thing in the universe, and because it is what it is the thing. But being that it is the thing, it scares me every time I do it. So like, I'm getting ready to do it soon. It's gonna be like in the next week, but like I'll be doing it like next week. So for the first time in a while. So since Halloween, but yeah, I can't really tell anybody if they should or if they shouldn't or if they could or if they couldn't. I can say that for some weird reason, cannabis is the most anxious substance I've done. It's weird that LSD is more intense than cannabis, but yet for some weird reason, kind of slightly less anxious. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, something. I appreciate that, Ansel. I know you'll succeed, Mark. You have the light in you. It's clear to see. I feel like the way you described that, somebody else said that in a different way, but like, I just give myself no option. I don't, there's just no option for me. And the things that I believe, I've had to force myself to believe. Like, there's certain things that I genuinely believe as a person that I did not believe as a person a year ago. But a year ago, I was nowhere near where I am today. And where I am today is I'm self-sustained, but mentally a little unhinged, a little off balance, a little off, a little, you know, there's life will throw many fucking stones at you, but you gotta learn to dodge them shits. And that's, I guess, the reason why it's like a lot of people say, like, you have this thing in you that, like, for some reason you're motivated no matter what. I'm motivated in the dark times. I'm motivated in the light, in the good times. I have this, I don't know if it's good, but I have this weird addiction with like the dark times. I don't know. When I'm down, when I'm really down, like when it's like when all else has failed and I just want to give up, those are the times that I end up finding out who I am. Those moments where I figure out genuinely who the fuck are you. And I was watching something yesterday, I forget what it was, but they said you find out who you are when you have nothing. Because I've been there. I've had completely nothing. And you find out who you are because you find out whether you're going to steal, whether you're going to rob, whether you're going to be a good man, whether you're going to get a job, whether you're going to sell drugs, whether you're going to do this or that. That all depends on the type of person you are. You figure out who you are, what you really believe, how much will do you have inside of you. And I think that so many people we don't go through either enough or we don't push ourselves hard enough. We don't believe in ourselves enough. And it's like, I don't know. I think that's taught to us though. I think it's taught to us not to believe in ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's taught, no, we're not taught to be powerful and think for yourself and do what you came on this planet to do and feel fulfilled. We're taught to fulfill the cup of society. That's just the way it goes. I need to get a drink, guys. Geek Links. What's going on, bro? This shatter always gets me high as shit. Last time I was high like this, because it's been like this since like 420. Last time I've been high like this is 2017. No, 2000, the end of 2018. Right? Yeah. So like 2 years ago. The times are changing. The life, the world that we're living in is becoming something completely different. The virus, psychedelic research, scientific discoveries. Yeah. Right. Onslow says, we've been lied to and conditioned. It's actually staggering when you think about it. Yeah, it is, actually. Reach and deception, but we're waking up, aren't we? I was literally just about to say that, though. I was literally just about to say it because all the change that's happening, like, it's like we're starting to wake up because there's so much change that's happening. We're starting to just become what we were meant to be, but to become genuinely what we were meant to be, it's going to take a lot of tragedy. It's going to take a lot of just shaking up. I don't know. The world won't wake up by lightly saying, hey, you should wake up. The world will only wake up when you're like, wake up, it's time to wake, like there's going to have to be a moment. And I think this virus was a moment, but it put people in fear because that's what can happen. It happens with psychedelics. It happens with human life. It happens with everything. Somebody can take a psychedelic and have the exact, like an ego death and just accept it and fucking love it. Another person can have an ego death and run away from it the whole entire time in fear. Somebody can go through hard times in life and another person go through the exact same hard times in life, but then, commit suicide. Now, these are real topics. This is real shit. Like some human beings have, and this is the thing, I think every human being has it. I just think we're all raised differently. We're all raised in different environments. We all had different traumas at different times in our lives, which affected us in different ways. But I think that the human machine is adaptable and the human machine is hackable. I think that we can hack our consciousness. And this is something that I have done personally, or I would not speak about it, right? Like, I've been able to hack my consciousness. One day, pretty soon here, actually, I'm going to make a video I have videos of me talking back in the day. And I had this weird, like, gangsterish talk to my voice. And it was because I was brainwashed, right? Like, and you don't see it unless you're on, unless you're just able to witness yourself. And I've been recording videos for a long time now, long before I was just like talking like philosophy and shit like this. Back when I was trying to make music and shit, I was just making videos too and whatever. But yeah, back then I was I was about as high as this at that point all the time. So like, yeah. Good thing I don't work until 3. Ooh. Isn't it crazy though how somehow psychedelics made a comeback? How like in the 60s, how like psychedelics were this thing that hit, boom, then left, kind of hit again in the 70s and 80s, Orange Sunshine, LSD, and then boom, and then from there, like things, kind of deaded off from psychedelics, right? Like the 90s, I mean, there's not really many, that's when gangster rap, I guess, started taking over and all this other shit, and it started changing the culture and reality of the world, and we don't understand how much music influences the world. But I think having the understanding on actually seeing that psychedelics are taking over again, it's here, and it's taking time. There's a lot of trauma and drama going on in the world today, but there's also still research going on. I've been, I don't know. John Hopkins University has been doing research. MAPS has been doing their thing for, like these people have been doing their thing for like 20 years or something like that, probably even more. Like, Hefter Research Group, there's so much shit going on, like quantum gravity research. I had somebody comment the other day, talking about like, it was one of my theories, but they mentioned something about computer science, and I completely forgot about computer science in a way that there's evolutions happening in computer science and all this other shit, and it's gonna change reality. The world itself is getting more psychedelic. Life itself is getting more psychedelic. It's getting more hyped up, and it's getting more just so much information and so many possibilities, and things are just changing. And we have to accept the change, because I feel like change is the only thing that's guaranteed in our reality. That's the only thing that we can all understand. The only thing that will happen to every single one of us is change. I'm going to change. You're going to change. Our lives are going to change. Things happen to us that are out of our control. It's just the way things go. Yeah. I've had multiple ego deaths and been fine with accepting that. But I get suicidal thoughts and find it hard to pull away from those ideations. Geeked Links. I have been there many times. I have been there not too long ago. But the way I look at it is I have a job to do. Everyone gets depressed. I just tend to accept it and feel it, but like I've had moments where I couldn't accept it, and I just wanted to say fuck this shit. Like, I'm out, bro. Like, fuck this. But I feel like a lot of people do. But we have to remember why we're here in a way. Like, that's what helps me is I remember, okay, at the end of the day, no matter what goes on in my life, I have no choice but to be me. My girlfriend could break up with me. One day, as sad as this is and as blunt as this is, my mom's going to die one day. My grandfather died last summer. I've had 8 friends I went to high school with die of overdoses. 2 people I went to school with, well, 2 people I worked with, one of them I went to school with since 3rd grade. But they all died from opiate overdose, right? And this was just think 2017, 2018 when they died, and then my grandfather died last. But like, I feel like this is just the world we're in. The world we're in is a chaotic, sad, destructive, beautiful, magical, incredible place. But it's so complex, and we're so, we want it our way. We're so bent on having it our way. It's so much better when you just accept what you can't change and change the things that you can change, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to change the things that I can change, because the things that are happening in my life are based on things that I did yesterday. Like, the things that are going on in my life today are because of the things that I did yesterday. So what I need to do today, if I want a better today, tomorrow, is what I need to do is work on shit. So everybody, I think we should all use this quarantine as time to just sit down and work on shit. Just work on, all your projects. Get successful. Get that drive. Get that thing back. Find yourself. Use this time to find yourself. Meditate more. I don't know, research more. Just, yeah. Do your thing. Find out what your thing is and just do it. Because I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people aren't doing their thing, and we gotta do our thing. And if you're a psychonaut, then a psychonaut is what you do, and a psychonaut is who you are, and you're doing your thing. But you got to find a way to sustain your life from that, which is my problem with this, and what I've been trying to do is, how do I balance having a family, being a psychonaut, having business, multiple businesses. Like right now I have a job, but then I'm also going to have a business. Once I have at least 2 businesses, then I will quit my job. And then I'm going to go from here. And I have all the steps from this is my, I originally had a 10-year plan. So I have until I'm 35 years old. Okay, 35 years old. If I'm not where I need to be, then I need to change something in my life. So realistically though, I don't think I'm gonna need 10 years. I think that I'm doing this I'm trying to get this shit done in 2. What my 10-year goal is I'm trying to max it out in 2 years. Like a 10-year sentence that you somehow max out in 2. What's up, bro? Much love to you, man. Joshua. Hey, good to see you, man. I know you don't know me, but I have been around your previous channel for a while back in the day. You were such a wild plant dude for me then. You still are. I appreciate it, man. I've just grown over the years, that's all. Gone through more life experiences, more traumas, more good experiences, more magic, more, learning, and just more finding myself, But because back then it's I was researching the plants and I was so into them. Now it's I know so many of them and I've done so many of them that now I kind of just stick to the ones that I love, which is I'm gonna make a video on that too and put that on this channel, which is gonna be like top 10 plants that I love and shit that have helped me with my life. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. You're literally the black version of my friend Mark. That's funny. That's dope, though. John Hopkins. John Hopkins studied salvia too. That's dope. Because I think a lot of these psychedelics need to be studied. I think that psychedelics are the like. Come on, what is more interesting than a magical psychedelic experience? Name one thing that is like. I don't know. I can't name one thing that is more magical than an actual psychedelic experience, like an actual good dosed, nice dosed psychedelic experience. And yeah, you can say childbirth and having a child and raising kids and this and that, and maybe going to see your favorite band, or maybe hanging with all the people you love. But I don't know, you can go to the Bahamas, you can go to any place on the planet, but shit, you can go to the moon, but psychedelics are still just more, yeah, magical. Have you watched The Midnight Gospel? Very interesting show. I recommend it if you haven't. I was just told about this show yesterday by my friend Eric, and I'm going to definitely watch this show. I don't know if it's kid friendly, but I was going to watch the show with my daughter. But yeah. Joshua says, because of you, I've gone a few psychedelic journeys that completely changed my life and showed me my path internally. Thank you for opening the door to wisdom for me. That blows my mind, bro. I appreciate that. And like things like that aren't things that I even thought about, or like I think about it now that my psychedelic usage might influence others, and that's kind of the point in a way. But in a way, it's like, as long as you found your path, and that's amazing. Because I think that the funny part about psychedelics is I think they're everybody's path. Like there's this conflicting information in my head where I sit there and think to myself, psychedelics are most likely everybody's path. It's just some human beings haven't evolved yet to connect with it, but everybody's supposed to be reconnected. I think, technically, and because it's just kind of what it is. I mean, you can have a computer and not hook it up to the internet, I guess, but Made by Duncan Trussell and animated. Oh, that's dope. I didn't know it was made by Duncan Trussell. That's dope, though. I heard that it was his voice. That's dope, though. You can tell these people, they don't trip balls. Like the people that make like shows like Adventure Time, Rick and Morty, Midnight Gospel, these people have gone deep in. That's the thing. There's a whole different side of reality that most people don't realize even exists. And I want to return the favor by showing you the wisdom behind the door of my path. I hope that wisdom knowledge will enlighten you as it has enlightened me. Do you have does your channel have videos on it? Because if it does, I'll definitely subscribe and I'll definitely watch, because like I'm more trying to do that. Like I think that if we can all touch a side of this world, right? Maybe we can eventually get to a point where we have enough information of this world. I will never know what psychedelics are completely. But over a long period of time of human beings collecting information on it, we can actually get a good idea of what psychedelics actually are. And that's what I think is happening on the internet. That's what's making this psychedelic revolution different than the last, which is it's allowing us to store the information on the internet, to watch these videos, to share information with people from across the planet. And that is amazing. And as much bullshit is going on in the world, in the external world, we need to work in the internal world and put some ideas out into this external world. I think we need strength now more than ever. I think we need to find our path. We need to become who we were meant to be. And, if you hear anybody, it's not just me, because I'm just some guy, right? I don't really know. I guess reality, yes, I know a lot about psychedelics, but reality is I don't know a lot about psychedelics. Life is a paradox, like I don't know shit, but I do, but I don't. It's this weird thing. But all I know is I feel right. Psychedelics, the path itself has always felt right to me, so that's why I'm on it. Made by Duncan Trussell and animated. That's all. Onslaught says, existence is the impossible made possible. That's miraculous or something. Right, though. It is. It is pretty insane, the world that we're in. Nazar says, are you connected with a certain spiritual animal? Have you met any guides or angels? The only, I've had one ayahuasca experience where I had a vision of these spiders circling in the Fibonacci sequence, behind my eyes as I'm meditating. But I've never seen animals. There was one time I did a salvia tincture. So it's I kind of held the salvia in my mouth and let it soak, the salvia tincture. And I took I think 2 or 3 full dropperfuls that time. And then I had this experience where I became a butterfly. I was a butterfly, and I was in this, and it was a weird thing because I was in a field where it was untouched by human beings ever. You could just tell that human beings didn't touch it yet. They didn't. It was weird. But I've had experiences like that, but I've never had really experiences that with a spirit animal. I guess guides or angels, though. I've definitely met many entities and many beings, and the whole experience itself to me has been a guide or entity to me. Whenever the experience itself is the guide for me. So the only psychedelic that I've ever taken that has no guide is LSD. But LSA, so Hawaiian Baby seeds, it's it's alive. It's it can be there for you. Mushrooms, it's it can guide you and be there for you, but it doesn't guide you as much as ayahuasca can kind of hold you by the hand and guide you and show you and coddle you and love you and walk you through it. On DMT, I've been able to meet many entities who have guided me in weird ways. Sometimes they just kind of force me to look somewhere else and guide me somewhere and this and that and back doorways into other dimensions and other realities. And, I've had many DMT experiences, but I think, all the guides that I've met, I couldn't name them. The only thing for a long time, I was calling this one female entity Mother Ayahuasca because that's the vibe that I got from her. And it was just a name that I gave her, but yeah. I mean, last time, I think the comment hasn't made it or something. Shall I send it again somewhere? It's about. Yeah, if you wanted, send it again. Yeah. Maybe I don't know if you put a link in it or something. Sometimes when there's a link in a comment, sometimes YouTube will mark it as spam. But then I'll just check the spam thing when I'm done. Where did you get your Blue Lotus from? I bought it off of 2 vendors on Etsy and it didn't do much for me. What type of Blue Lotus did you get? If Did you get Blue Lotus the plant? Did you get a Blue Lotus extract? Was the extract 20x, 50x, 100x? There's also 200x extract, which is like, and I guess what these really don't mean much besides they just get stronger. There's just one stronger than the other, and it keeps getting more concentrated. Sometimes different extraction methods, like a freeze-dried extraction method, is going to be different. And if the plant was fresh or dry, it's going to be different. Like some people buy the fresh flowers so that you can make fresh extract. Because the fresh extract's a little different, and it's just there's so many. And that's the thing that I've learned with a lot of these different plants and extracts. And you have to figure out the method of usage that works the best. And I've tried to figure out the method of usage that actually works. I need it to work. So with Blue Lotus, I just usually take if I'm brewing it, I usually brew if you really wanted, you could put an ounce of Blue Lotus in. I don't know. I would say 15 grams of Blue Lotus in a pot that could fit on the stove. Obviously, like a pot, you fill it up with water, and you put it on the stove, and you put a top on it. You put the lotus in there and let it brew for anywhere from 5 hours to 10, 12 hours, and then you take 5 ounces of that liquid. Only 5 ounces of that liquid, and then you drink it and see how you feel with that, and then go from there. And that's just a method I do. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's the way that I do all of my brews, because I think that that's the way I brew Motherwort. That's the way I brew. Like every brew that I can get to work, the reason why I get these things to work is because I researched the LD50 to make sure I'm not going to fucking kill myself, and make sure I'm not going to die, and make sure the molecule is safe. And then after I researched the molecule is safe, how many people used it? Is it, does it cause this? Is it whatever? Then I know that the LD50 allows me to say, well, I could take a high dose of it and I'm not going to die or not going to be in any physical danger. But GeekLink says, I got powder form. First one was 100 and the second one was 200. I looked into the extract tinctures online, other websites, but I'm sketched out. If you don't mind me asking, what was your dose? Dirty Dan says, have you brewed kratom? Yes, I have brewed kratom. I've made kratom extract. So the thing is, but kratom extract is highly, like they say kratom's not addictive, but kratom is addictive, and kratom extract is highly addictive. Because there was a time where all I did was kratom extract. I basically stopped using kratom, and I couldn't use kratom without kratom extract in it. And to get off kratom extract, it was hard. It sucked. But the alcohol extract seems to be more addictive or more heavy than the water extract. And I would just make a water extract instead of making a kratom brew. But I made a kratom syrup one time, which required a kratom brew, a really strong kratom brew mixed with honey. But Uh, I don't know because Geek Links every time I take Lotus, like I just maybe try to brew it yourself. Maybe try to just get the plant itself and try to just like brew it yourself because sometimes these extracts, like we don't know how long they've been sitting there. We don't know how long they've been whatever. And like, so I think that for me, a good way is to just brew it in some water, or just make the extract yourself. I make a lotus extract with isopropyl alcohol, and I evaporate the alcohol away, and you have this, extract. And I usually dab that, and it's a really nice. It's I don't know. It doesn't last too long, but the meditative experience lasts for like an hour and a half or so. But the initial bang only lasts for like I don't know, 30 minutes or so. But and there's not necessarily really a bang. It's more of a meditative, like immediately, like I don't know. Um, but I've experimented with Lotus many different ways, from trying to get to see what's the best extraction method to get it to work. And I've just come to realize it's just different. If I do a water extract, it's different than an alcohol extract. If I do alcohol extract with only the blue flower petals, it's different than if I did an alcohol extract with only the yellow stamens. There's and they all give it similar feel, but slightly different effects, and all from the same exact plant. Um, I I had this extract one time. I can't get it anymore. It's shitty, but it was from fresh water lily. Fresh water lily was basically like they kind of took the fresh water lily, made freeze dried extract with it, and it was the most potent extract I've ever had. It was I only needed like 2 grams of that, and it was extremely potent. Um, but I think that with these, I wish I had a brew to show you guys, because like honestly, it almost some of my brews, like I like to have my brews about almost the same color as Pepsi, but a slight little bit lighter. Um, uh, because I like to have these things be potent enough to work. And I just made a cannabis brew the other day. I just took milk, put it on the pot, and brewed up some cannabis, put some shatter in there as well, and let that sit for like an hour and a half, and 2 hours, and then boom. But and that was 420. That was nice. Anybody got any questions? Uh, Dude, I'm really, really, really high, and this is the last. So I gotta work in 3 hours. So I gotta smoke now because I don't like to be this high before work. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, taking Blue Lotus gives me an Egyptian vibe. Um, but taking Blue Water Lily gives me an Egyptian vibe. Taking White Lotus gives me a meditative vibe. Like, because the lotus and the water lily are different plants and contain slightly different molecules. But I'm actually getting ready to try some get some Lotus myself. I'll be getting some motherwort. I'll probably order that today. But I guess I'm just trying to get back into, my herbs, because I haven't really had any of the herbs in a while. Just cannabis, and that's what I was thinking about using kratom again. But I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick to herbs. And now that it's springtime, it's going to be summer. I have so many wild plants around here that grow that are dope that I don't have to buy, Don't have to buy blue vervain, don't have to buy, white vervain, or, maybe I'll have to buy a little motherwort. But shit, I got like almost like a pound and a half of wild motherwort last year that I used from around here. So it was actually from 2 years ago from around here, but I tried it last year. I didn't use it until last year. I'm down to do that, bro. Like, I'm down to have like a video chat where I can have like people, different viewers in the thing with me, and we can all like have like this little podcast thing type shit. Right now I got to figure it today. I'm gonna figure out my schedule for work, and then I'm gonna try to just grow up to whatever, since this is all I'm doing now, and start the podcast back up and go from there. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to get guests and try to do this and that. And the main thing I want to push myself to do as well is my book. Like, I just need to just get to it, Geek links. I'm working with a YouTuber called Stick, and was asked to write up my trip report of when I combined 4 grams AVB weed and 888 milligrams of DXM pulse stress, but my brain is fried still. Any thoughts on how I should? Don't think about it in a pressure setting, in a pressured way. Think about it in a way where it's like you're just in it. Try to remember it, try to reminisce it instead of remember it for the trip report. Like, try to reminisce it, try to feel it, try to remember the traumatic, like, because psychedelic experiences are traumatic in a good way, in a beautiful way, sometimes in a bad way. What happened in a good thing, what was bad, be there. Close your eyes, meditate, feel it. Don't worry about being able to write it. If you need to, speak it, record it, and then write it. But like, because you can close your eyes and put a recorder on, and but because that's kind of how, if I wanted to remember one of my trips, that's what I would do, because I have so many trips that now it just kind of blends together. But that's why I'm glad that I've had videos where I've documented, these experiences, and I've been able to document, so I don't have to really remember me right now. I don't remember as much as all the videos that are out there, So where are you working at? I'm just working at 7-Eleven. But that's life, right? Right now, I just have to do what I got to do. And this is the problem. I made a thing to myself that I wouldn't get a job again when I started my business, but I had no choice at this point. And now I'm looking at, well, this is what I got to do. Got to get this job, got to save up some money, got to start my business back up, got to do these other business ventures that for some reason are like just coming into my lap. So I feel like that's the universe. It's like just saying here. I have another thing I'm doing that's gonna make me money a lot sooner. But there's just about a month before that happens, and then I should be good, and things should start flowing a little better in my life. I'm working on getting my license. I need to learn how to drive. There's all the shit I'm trying to do, but my reality is only going to change because I have to change it. I have to put the fucking footwork in, and it sucks fucking ass. Let me tell you, it sucks. You know, and yeah, that's just how it is, though. I feel like we all have to put our part in to become the men and women that we were meant to be. And, you know, if you have a goal, it's going to be hard as shit to get to that goal. Let me tell you. It was a mind-blowing experience that made me stop abusing Xanax and weed. I pushed a whole ounce, so 100 worth of weed, and I haven't done much weed since. I found that Blue Lotus mainly. Mr. Fern has grounded me because I was. So it's weird you said Blue Lotus and Luciferian has grounded you, because you know Luciferian is Luciferian is basically, I don't know if it was Luciferian or another molecule in it, but it's basically like a natural weak antipsychotic. Because I was in a one time I was in a DMT psychosis in a way, and you can say psychosis because like I was just So I was in a DMT psychosis from doing a shit ton of DMT in a small amount of time, and after finding Blue Lotus, I realized that Blue Lotus helped my mind come back down, grounded. That's kind of why I started getting into herbs. That's why I took a 2-year break from psychedelics, but I was still using herbs because the herbs grounded me. Kratom grounded me. Blue Lotus grounded me. Motherwort is a grounding herbs, but Motherwort at a high dose also a nice ascending herb. But a lot of these herbs kind of ground you, and sometimes when you're a psychonaut, you need to learn how to balance yourself. You know, I think that's the problem. A lot of people just use psychedelics and don't use herbs and have nothing to ground them. And when you have nothing to ground yourself, you start to become like a helium balloon that starts to float away. So sometimes you need something to hold that balloon. So you can be floating up there pretty high, but you need something sometimes to hold that balloon for you. Whether it's an herbal connection, a connection with a human being, a lover, a friend, a hobby, like your dreams, like chasing your dreams. Like this is just, yeah. I think the way I see psychosis and schizophrenia is completely ass backwards. I see it as open communication with the source. No, I honestly look at it the same way. Like, I genuinely believe that, well, I mean, even a scientist and a psychologist would say that they don't, we don't fully understand schizophrenia. We don't get it at all. But that's because, or psychosis, because these are, yeah, exactly, communication with the source. I feel like these are moments where you're kind of stuck. The dial is stuck and you can't turn the dial back for some reason because it kind of got stuck. And then sometimes it takes, maybe an herb to grease the dial, or maybe a therapist, or some medication from the pharmaceuticals, or, whatever it takes, or therapy for a while, whatever the fuck it takes. But, and some people, have turned that dial and it's been stuck ever since. There are moments like that. And it's not that psychedelics cause these things, it's that traumatic experience in general cause these things. It's that psychedelics are traumatic. It has nothing to do with the psychedelic itself, besides it's a traumatic experience. But having a child does a similar thing. Having someone die in your life does a similar thing. Having, hopes and dreams and achieving them does a similar thing, and losing them all, it does a similar thing. These are all moments where we, are just hit. How do you use Blue Lotus? I tried soaking it in red wine. Oh, I said it. I don't know how long ago. Well, it could have been like 20 minutes ago or whatever. But I usually just brew all my brews, uh, um, for like 5 to 12 hours on a pot for with a top on it, and I have it boil the whole time, but a light boil to the point where you could still keep a top on it without it over boiling over. Um, and it does that for 5 to 12 hours. And I usually put with motherwort and lotus, I usually do 10 to 15 grams of the plant in there, but I've done more before as well. It depends how potent the plant is too, though, because just like with weed, if I give you some weed, you say, yo, this is some good weed, this is some shitty ass weed. It's both weed. And that's, I feel like, the problem with motherwort. That's the problem with lotus. Is I've had motherwort where I brewed 15 grams and it didn't do shit because it was some shitty ass grown motherwort. But I've had motherwort where I done 15 grams in a pot and it was way too much. And when I'm saying in these pots, I'm not drinking the whole pot. I'm only drinking 5 ounces of the liquid. But these things are no joke if you can brew them right. And when you start, because my favorite mixture is, when it comes to herbs, I guess, is mixing mixing that Blue Lotus, brew that I just said, with a wild dagga, clip dagga, or motherwort brew, whatever you prefer. And then smoking cannabis, obviously, throughout the experience as well. But that's a nice philosophical vibe to it. I don't know. But in a sense, I like to really just do extracts. I take those brews and I brew it down and I evaporate the water until there's no water, and I scrape it up, grind it up, and then have a powdered extract that I usually save. I think when you make them yourself, they're a little stronger, a little more potent, a little more, yeah. Giggling says, I was diagnosed with catatonic schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder, and general anxiety, and it's like people don't see you as a real human, just like we see characters in a video game. They may look realistic, but they are not really there. I can see what you mean with that. I was diagnosed with a bunch of shit too, but I pay my diagnoses no mind because I don't think humans understand the mind enough to tell me about my mind. Like, I don't think the people that diagnose me, I don't think they know enough about their mind or the mind in general to really diagnose me on my mind based on questions that are on a piece of paper that they've asked me. Or no, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not against, a lot of this, but I think I think a lot of times what we have is not disorders. I think a lot of times what we have is human beings misunderstanding what we are. 100 years ago, probably less than that, they were still doing lobotomies, which is where you put a hole in the fucking human head because they had schizophrenia or something. You thought you were gonna help them by relieving some pressure by drilling a hole in their head, or I think a lobotomy is when you put the thing in the nose and you somehow do something into the fucking brain itself and like disconnect something or something. But like, those practices were in our therapy sessions and psychology sessions about 100 years ago or less. So we're not, I think the things that we're practicing today will be realized in 100 years from today. I think that they'll be like, oh my God, they thought that they had this disorder and that disorder and this disorder, but they just didn't really understand the human mind back then. And that's what's going to be looked at in the future, right? And sometimes maybe these disorders are correct, but really they're just trying to label or put in a box human consciousness. But because they think the normal human consciousness thinks like this, the normal human consciousness does this. But everybody is different because everybody's on this planet for a different reason. And I believe that I um, just have the life I live for a certain reason, or at least I'm able to have the mindset that no matter what I go through, I still have to be me, and I still have fun in hard times. I still live, I still experience, I still trip, I still whatever. And no matter what people say, like people say, oh, you trip too much, or maybe you do this too much, or it doesn't matter what people's opinion of me is, as long as I know and I'm content with me, because I have to live with me for the rest of my life. You have to live with you for the rest of your life. So if you don't love you, then who the fuck, it doesn't matter what other people think. You gotta go to bed next to you at night, right? Like, what do you think about smoking CBD flower? It gives me a nice, grounded, fuzzy feeling, and high dose is somewhat subtle, trippy. Um, I agree. I'm actually getting ready to start a CBD venture business with my friend. Um, and it was his idea, but he just wanted me to like help him with it. So I'm gonna help him with it. And, it's gonna be, I'm gonna own part of the business as well. But this is yeah, I'm just gonna start. First, we're just working on getting it to the shops around here, like the Arab stores. But I might make a website, start selling it. So I've been smoking it lately, basically testing the products and getting it. And my friend smokes CBD flower, and it's interesting because before 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I wasn't smoking like I smoke now. I wasn't smoking really anything. I was barely smoking at all. So like I barely smoked weed. So a lot of times my friend would come over and smoke some CBD flower, and I could feel the effects of it because I had no tolerance from regular weed at all or anything. And you can feel, yeah, it's like a fuzzy feeling, fuzzy, nice, grounded feeling, nice body feeling. In high doses, I guess, yeah, it's somewhat like you kind of get a high from it in a way, but a different type of high. And it's not a high per se, it's just a perspective change. I feel more clarity in my mind. Like right now, THC is flowing through my bloodstream, which is making me seem high and like, high. But if it was CBD weed, it makes me feel more stimulated in the mind, like I don't know, just more there. Cognitive, helps with my cognitive function and helps with speech. I don't know, it's just weird. Helps me feel more clear and fuzzy and just, yeah. Geek Link, seeing your vids really helped me out, man. Like how you said, like that I basically have accept me for me. Like I put up a front for years, basically saying how excited I was for college to start, but once I was in college, it became the worst feeling of my life. I was there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. I hated it and started to abuse Xanax, which led me down a dark path. Yeah, I can. There, it's a. I've now never went to college, but it was just me. Like I went down a path too when I started doing pills for like 2 months, because like I started to lose myself, and this was in 2015 though. But like, I was just starting to lose myself, and because the thing I thought I wanted was the thing I didn't want, and then it was like, damn, there's no way out now, and but there's always a way out though. Just because you had an experience, that's just an experience I feel like everyone goes through in their own way. It's just a realization that experience like that, you either grow from it or you end up making the same mistake again. But if you make the same mistake again, just try to grow from it. It's like I think we beat ourselves up so bad for making mistakes, for making the wrong decision. But it's like we shouldn't beat ourselves up for making the wrong decision. We should just accept that it's like, okay, we made the wrong decision. Okay, fuck, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Because we're all still breathing. We're all still alive. We still have, as long as we're still alive, as long as you can still do your thing, then you still have time. Joshua, yeah, subtle perspective change, precisely that. has great potential for sure. I think it's honestly, I think it's everything. I think your perspective in your on your life is the most important thing in your life. It's more important than life itself. It's like, because it doesn't matter what happens to you, it matters the way you look at what happens to you. That's the most important thing, because that's what either makes you strong or weak. That's what makes you either successful or not. That's what makes you either happy or not. That's what makes you either uh, have peace or not. That's what makes you. It's all based on you know your perspective. I was bullied to like everyone stole all my shit I need for construction and electrician and shit, no matter how high. I could never understand what they were saying, and now since I dropped out, my family sees me differently, but I'm proud of the internet of clarity. Right though. If I had not gone through that, I would probably still be in school. I had completely school and hated myself for the rest of my life. Right. And I think that's the problem. We have other people around us that expect things from us, and that can be a good thing, a bad thing, but like sometimes you just gotta follow your heart, man. You gotta follow what's right for you, and just feel. It should feel right. What you're doing in life should always feel right. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not right for you. Um, Now sometimes you gotta do something that doesn't feel right to get to the thing that does feel right. Like use the thing that doesn't feel right as a stepping stool to get to the thing that you need to get to. But that's what I'm doing with this job. And like, I got 2.5 hours before I gotta go to this goddamn job. And I'm only there for 5 hours, so I can't complain. But like, and then I get to see the schedule, see how many hours I work this week, and but I'm trying to compact my days though with things I need to do. I've been making music. If there was a way I could if there was a way that I could have you guys hear it, I would fucking rap it to you right now. But I'm gonna wait until it's recorded. I'm gonna put it out, and I'm gonna randomly just drop a mixtape, like because it's been a long time since I made music, so I'm just gonna randomly drop a mixtape. Um, I'm also been making beats, and I think that this quarantine has, and then the personal things I'm going through, they've just allowed me to just sit and be right? And just accept that I'm either going to sit and do nothing or I'm going to sit and do something. A lot of people are sitting and doing nothing. Like at nighttime, when I've done at late at night, or maybe like time during the day, when I spend time with my kid, I'm going to watch like maybe some Netflix series and do this and vibe or whatever. But early morning, nighttime, like I was up until 6 in the morning last night, and I woke up at 9:40 this morning, and like here I am, and I'm just trying to get things done. I'm just trying to work hard because I feel like we have time, but I'm trying to work like I don't have time, even though I do have time, because then that gives me more time just to be me and find myself. And the more things you try and the more things you do, the easier it is to find who you are, because you'll find what you like and you'll find what you don't like. And you find what you like to do and you find what makes you happy, you find what doesn't make you happy. And it's just the way it is, right? But I'm going to get going. I'm going to head out of here because I need to somehow not be this high before 3 o'clock. So, yeah, probably drink some coffee and maybe watch some YouTube videos myself. Um, and yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here with me. You guys are fucking awesome. And I will see you guys in the next live stream.